Okay, so hello and welcome back to another Unity video, but this one's not going to be tutorial. My last, I think, 8 videos have been item system tutorials, and don't worry, I'm going to keep going with them, but I thought it's a good point to make a video on my stream highlights. Well, not stream highlights, but my stream progress. So obviously many of you will know I've been streaming on Twitch every 2 days, well technically every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, from 12 till 5 my time, British time. So what I've been doing is I've been making from scratch a roguelike game, and I plan on working on it 2 months in total. And obviously that's not 2 months worth of hours, that's just 2 months worth of time, but I'm only streaming every 2 days. It's still quite a lot of time, not for like developing a full game. Obviously it's not going to be complete at the end of the 2 months, but the plan is I want to start a game from scratch, work on it for 2 months worth of live streams, and then not publish it, but like put it online for free, you know, on like itch.io or something, some online place to put it on for free. And then after that, I might have like a week break and then go back to streaming for the next 2 months on a new project. So obviously I've kept it simple at the start. I've just picked a single player offline game, all that lot, and then I'll slowly move into more. I mean, I can still do single player games. Everyone likes single player games, but obviously it'd be interesting if I moved and did some multiplayer, whether that was local co-op or online multiplayer. That's what I'm trying to learn on my own right now anyway, to learn multiplayer stuff. So while I'm not as confident on it, I'm just sticking to single player stuff, but as soon as I am confident enough, I can make tutorials on multiplayer, teach you guys how to do multiplayer. There's so many different ways to do it. You can make your own, which is extremely difficult, or you could use pre-made ones like Photon or Spatial OS. There's loads. I think Unity are making their own new version. I don't know how good it's going to be, but for now I'm learning Spatial OS, and it's got, you know, good reviews, like a few tutorials on it, not so many, but the actual website documentation is really good. So I'm going to teach myself that and hopefully start making some multiplayer videos. I think that'd be pretty fun. Maybe even make a silly game and get members of the community on stream to like join the game and play. That'd be pretty fun to test it or whatever. I don't know. But yes, I'm going to show you my progress so far. Let's get into it. But of course, first I got to thank my patrons, with special thanks to Flow State Games, Average Morning, Thomas Huster, Remy Baldwin, Phil Baum. If anyone else is able to help support the channel monetarily, the link is in the description below. If you can't help monetarily, then I would appreciate you leaving a sub or a like, a follow on Twitch, any of the above. All those links are in the description. Now let's get into the video. Okay, so this video isn't really planned out like my tutorials are. This is just going to be me going through some of the things I've made and explaining, you know, what I've done so far. If you actually want the the videos of me making these systems, they're all on my Twitch VODs. So if you go onto my Twitch channel, which is below, go onto videos at the top and you can find the recordings of these if you want to watch me make these systems. Keep in mind, for example, I made my level generation system for the roguelike in my first stream, but I've obviously altered it and improved it over the course of the next few streams. So obviously if you go back to my first VOD and watch that, then you're not going to get the exact end product or what it is now, and I'm obviously going to change it from now on anyway. The GitHub link for this project is also, it's all publicly available in my GitHub, which is linked below. So I'll just give you a quick rundown of what happens, or what I've got working so far, and what I plan on doing. So obviously roguelike games, you tend to, so for those of you who don't know, a roguelike is essentially a game where whenever you press play and start again, you are fresh, as in like you don't have any items. You'll have like a starting weapon and perhaps a starting item, but you start fresh every time, and then you go through, you kill things, you explore a procedurally or like randomly generated level, killing stuff and getting loot, and obviously that loot generally gets better as you go through. At least you have a higher chance of getting better loot as you go through. And then at the end of every floor, there's always like a boss, and then when you kill that boss, if you kill that boss, you can then go to the next floor. And then obviously the game after a certain amount of floors will have like a final boss. I mean, I'm going basically off like Gungeon's version there, but obviously there's different roguelikes that have it slightly different ways. I mean, there's other roguelikes like Wizard of Legend, Binding of Isaac. I'm sure you'll have heard at least one of those few games. But I'm making my own game for that genre. I haven't really, at least yet, got like a theme or a, style to go with. So currently I'm just designing the systems. Obviously I'm not an artist, I'm a programmer, so I'm focusing more on making the systems rather than making it look nice. But obviously if I've given myself 2 months and I'm currently like 3 weeks into it and I've already got most of the gameplay systems made, I just need to expand on them and make more content. I think I'll actually be able to make some models and some sound effects and make it look a bit better than it does right now, but at least it's working so far. So what I've got is, you spawn in, obviously it doesn't look great, so don't judge me. We've got the pistol equipped, which is just a cube. All the weapons are cubes at the moment. If I click, I shoot, obviously my ammo goes down, and if I keep shooting, this has a clip size of 10. Currently there's no way of showing that, but it does. So when I keep clicking now, it stops, and it reloads, and then it goes again. It has quite a quick reload time for this pistol. And obviously, yeah, I've got pistol, I've got 6 health. If I go to this next room, through the teleporter, there's other enemies here. They're shooting at me. If I run away, they come for me. These are just the simple enemies, so obviously they just shoot in my direction. I'm pretty sure if they hit me, I take damage. Well, obviously there's something going on there. I actually only implemented the enemy shooting stuff in the stream like yesterday, so there's still some bugs with it because it was working yesterday, but apparently it's not working now. That's the fun of game development, I'm sure you can all relate. But the point is I can kill enemies, apparently they can't kill me, but that's fine. When I go into a room, the teleporter things go away, but then when I kill all the enemies in a room, they reappear, so it's just like a door locking and then a door unlocking. I decided to generate the level with like teleporter links between them, so those magenta lines between the pads and the other pads, just so I can see in the editor what links to what. But obviously in the game the player doesn't see that. Now I might actually display like a mini map at some point, like a mini map is on my list of to-dos. But essentially how it works is this is the spawn room. The grey teleporters indicate you're going to a normal room, so this is a normal room. The yellow teleporters indicate you're going to a spawn room, so obviously there's only ever going to be one of those in a level. And if I go find the boss room, which is over here, that's the boss room with no boss in it yet, you can see that's linked to a red one, which indicates a boss room. Now, my level generation used to just spawn in every room and then put it in a big line, so like the spawn room will be there, then next room will be there, in a big line along there. But I decided, obviously it's better if you lay it out in a grid. So, this teleporter has a direction, and it spawns the next room in that direction. And then obviously this teleporter has the direction of this way, which spawns this one, and this one has this way, which spawns this one. But I would like, one thing I want to do in the next stream is make it so when I spawn these rooms, if the teleporter's like there, for example, I want to rotate it to be like that. So that the rooms are, you know, they're not just fixed layout where the teleporters for this room is on the side. Also in these games, you tend to have lots of varied random rooms you can get. I've currently only made like 4, and I still want to obviously model more of those. Currently I just made some different rooms, like one with 4, one with 1 and a chest, one with 4 and a boss or whatever. Like I've just made all the random ones. Now I've made my level generation settings on a scriptable object, so I can actually like change the layout of the room. So how it works is it's got the minimum rooms, the maximum rooms. So I say when we start, we pick a desired number between 15 and 20. It's just random it's just to add some randomness, obviously. Here's my list of spawn rooms. Obviously there's just one, but maybe you might want to put some like NPC in a spawn room, but only a certain amount of the time. So I feel like the best way to do that would just be to have different random spawn rooms. I could obviously change that if I want to. Maybe I just want one spawn room per floor. But the reason why I've got this is because different floors will have different rooms you can get, just like in Enter the Gungeon. I'm going to keep referring to that game. Multi-link rooms are just prefabs of all the rooms that have 2 or more teleporters, so 2 or more doors. And then there's obviously Dead End, which is just all the ones that have 1. Currently I've only got 1 variant of that. Then priority rooms are rooms that don't just get randomly picked, they actually have some kind of... obviously with random generation, you still have to have some control over it. So for example, a chance on a priority room is the percent chance of it like actually happening. So there's a 100% chance to have a boss room. It has to spawn after 30%, so 0.3 is 30% of the rest of the rooms. So you can never have the boss room in the first 30% of the rooms when it comes to spawning them. There has to be between, 1 and 1, so there has to be 1 boss room and only 1. And here's the prefab for the boss room. Boom. Whereas for chest rooms, I say you are guaranteed to have chest rooms. Like, chest rooms are always going to spawn. There's going to be between 3 and 4 of them, so obviously 3 or 4. You could change that to be between 1 and 5 or whatever you want. It doesn't matter. I've not balanced the game yet. But the min room percentage is 0, meaning that chests can spawn literally anywhere. Like, you could get a chest on your second room or whatever. I thought it makes sense just to say they can spawn wherever. There has to be a minimum of 3, maximum 4. And here's the prefab for the chest room. But obviously, if I made more types of chest rooms with like different door entrance and exits and different sizes, then I'd just put that there. Now, chest rooms are just rooms with only chests, no enemies. If I wanted a room with enemies that maybe has a chance of spawning a chest after the room is cleared, then I'd do that separately. I'd do that in the room. But this is just for spawning. And then qualities. So whenever a chest is spawned in this room, it goes and it goes and asks the level settings, like, hey, what quality am I going to be? Like, what item am I going to drop? So what it does is it says, okay, level generator, pick a random rarity for me. So there's a 45% chance of it being common in this floor, 30% chance of it being uncommon, 15% rare, 10% epic, 0 legendary. I mean, I could make it so there's a chance of legendary. The reason I've got it on 0 so far is because I haven't made any weapons with a legendary rarity. So if I say go grab a legendary, then it's going to break because there's no legendaries. So I just need to make at least one legendary in the game to fix that. So that's fine for now, at least I'll just leave that on 0%. So a chest will basically say, hey, level settings, pick a rarity. Alright, you're uncommon. So what the chest will do then is the chest will set its material color to be the color of the rarity. So if I go find a chest room, as you see over here, I've got, it spawned 4 chest rooms. So I go find one over here. This one clearly picked epic, right? So if I go into this room, we've got the chest. The chest is epic. So it changed the material color to epic on the model chest. And then if I go onto debug mode, you can see this chest has in it a guided missile launcher, because as soon as the chest knows what rarity it is, it can then go ask the item database to go grab a random epic weapon. So I made a function in the item database for going through the list of all the items in the game and finding an epic one, just a random epic one, and there it is, guided missile launcher. So if I actually get to that chest, I get that weapon. Now I actually can't be bothered going to it and killing all the enemies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one other thing I designed. I made a console command system, which I should make a separate video on. So just like if you've watched my Discord bot videos, what you do is you do a command, so you do like slash and then a command give, and then it has parameters after that. So I've actually made the same kind of system for a console command. So slash would obviously make it be a command, give is the keyword, and then the thing after that is just the parameters. So if I put nothing, nothing's going to happen. But if I put slash give and then type something wrong, nothing's also going to happen. If I put slash give AK-47, a notification pops up saying AK-47 pew pew, and now if I press 2, or I can scroll, I get my AK, which is just a semi-automatic. No, it's a full automatic, sorry. I hold down, it shoots 20 ammo and then goes again. Obviously, I haven't researched the AK-47 and whether, that's how much ammo it has. And also, I need to add, for example, pressing R to reload early, if you want to reload early. And currently, I've added like weapon spread, so as you see, all those bullets are slightly being spread out based on a spread that I've chosen. Pistols, the pistol is semi-automatic, so you have to click per shot, you can't hold down. So I've made different types of weapons. I've made a grenade launcher. So I've just made some like example weapons for each type. So this grenade launcher shoots a projectile that bounces and then it blows up and deals AoE damage when it hits something, like an enemy. This blows up when it only hits an enemy or when it times out. So it's got there's no walls currently, but you see it like bounces along and then it'll go bang. There's no like particle effects here or anything, but it does do AoE damage. If you actually go into the inspector, I think you can see it. So if I go to where the player is, and you look here, you'll see it's got like a circle of where it's going to deal damage. And then we've also got a guided missile launcher, as I showed in the epic chest. So if I go to that, I don't know why I gave it 100 ammo, I haven't balanced anything yet. But if I click, it fires off this projectile that actually like homes in on my mouse. And if you've seen missile launchers before, they tend to launch the missile with like a low velocity, and then after about half a second to a second, they'll gain loads of speed. So what happens is it goes pretty slow, and then it speeds up really quick, and I can like aim it at the enemies, I guess. So it's actually a pretty fun weapon to use. And I think I also made one more. I made a shotgun just to test weapon spread. So I can now go make I can make a shotgun that shoots like a spread of multiple bullets. So that's basically what I've done with weapons. Now all those weapons, there's no script for like shotgun or guided missile launcher. I actually have the different weapons using a series of components. So if I pick the pistol, which is like the basic one, if I go to the weapon underscore pistol, it has semi-auto logic, which just handles input for a semi-automatic weapon, which is on mouse button down rather than mouse button. It says, alright, we have 100 ammo, clip size is 10, so after every 10 shots you have to reload. Reload takes 1 second, and fire rate is 2, so you can fire 2 bullets every second, so you can shoot every half a second. So I've set all that up for every weapon that works like that. And then what happens when we fire? Well, we launch a projectile and we raise the event saying the player is fired. Now, I might change that around, but that works just fine right now. And then launch projectile, it basically listens for that. So the guns are very split up in the sense of I can quickly just make a new gun without coding anything new, so long as it uses systems that are already made. So when I made, for example, another gun that shot projectiles, I didn't have to code anything new for that. I just had to tweak some parameters. Now, if you look on launch projectile, it's got variables such as the spread, so 10 degrees, which means 5 either way. So if I click somewhere, it's going to be somewhere between 5 degrees to the left and 5 degrees to the right. It shoots 1 projectile per shot. Obviously, that means that I can then make a shotgun shoot more. And then the spread is for every different bullet, so that if it shoots 10 bullets, then all bullets have a different spread, so that it's actually like a shotgun spread. The projectile, obviously, I just drag in the prefab. The spawn point on this where I spawned the weapon from, so currently I just spawn it on itself. And the launch velocity, 10 in the Z. Maybe I want to fire a bullet that shoots upwards a bit with like gravity. So I feel like maybe if I go to my grenade launcher, you'll see that it has on the Z, which is the forward direction, but maybe I want to have like, 1 on the Y. Just for example, maybe I want to tweak that. So what I can do is I'm actually going to spawn in the grenade launcher now. As you see, a new level was generated. Those black circles are just the spawn radius of enemies in that room, just to make sure they... that was just for me to set the radius correct. I might change that as well. Lots of stuff could change, but I think it's going pretty well. So if I give like grenade launcher, and I just like change this to be like 5. What if I put like 20? Is it actually working? I can't tell because I've already... what if I do now /give grenade launcher? Yeah, so now you see my new one that I spawned in has the 20. Now obviously 20 is a bit extreme. But what if I do /give grenade launcher? So obviously now that's still pretty high. I mean, yeah, that's still pretty ridiculous. But I can still just tweak it. So I can say like, well, maybe 3 is enough. So maybe I'll try another one. So let's give grenade launcher. What I should do to my console command system is store the previous command I've used, so that then I can press like up or tab or something, and it'll go to my last one. But yeah, as you see now, this looks pretty cool. So when I like shoot, it goes bounce, and it goes down, it blows up. So yeah, I don't think there's much more else to say. Obviously, I need to still fix and add some new systems, but that's mainly the stuff. I've got loot picking up from chests and stuff, that all works. I need to add, obviously, the main menu, the death screen, fix the health, which I just implemented, make more enemies, make more guns. It's just adding more content, really. The actual like main game system's already in there. So I hope you like this video, and I hope you maybe got interested in this. If you want to see all the code, then obviously that's in my GitHub. Though I'm using some add-ons that are paid add-ons. Like I'm only using one actually. It's Odin Inspector. So if you actually want to use my project, you won't be able to just download it and start working on it instantly. But you can look through all the code freely and just like learn how I do stuff. That's the main point in the code being online, is for you to learn from, not to just download and use really. Because you'll struggle unless you have Odin Inspector. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Obviously, feel free to help me out on social media any way you can. Share the video, like the video, follow, sub, anything. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Peace.